Hi everyone, welcome to Rachel Pichler Yoga. If we haven't met before, my name is Rachel, and today we're doing a nice flexibility practice. We are going to be focusing on prepping for our middle splits. So I am going to be using a couple blocks today just throughout the practice a little bit, but you're really just going to need a little bit of space to move, and let's get started. So let's begin today in a half straddle. If you've got blocks, just move them off to the side. You can bring one leg out, maybe your left leg, out nice and wide, and just bend your other leg in front of you so that you feel centered, you feel balanced, and you can point your toes up towards the sky, the ceiling above you. And then maybe just taking a little lean forward. So if you want to push into your fingertips a little bit, and maybe even add a gentle rock of your shoulders side to side just to start to feel some love through that inner leg. If you're feeling nothing at all or just the back of your leg, your hamstring, maybe bring your leg out a little bit wider. Nice, you guys. And you can slowly start to make your way back up. We're just going to switch sides. You can send your other leg out nice and wide. Point your toes up. Maybe adding a bit of a tip forwards, sending your sit bones into the ground, but maybe letting the chest fall towards the ground as well. And just noticing how your inner legs are feeling so far today. Awesome job, you guys. Slowly start to find your way back up. You can bring your leg in, maybe give your knees a bit of a hug, a little rock. And then let's make our way into tabletop. So onto our hands and knees. From here, spread your fingertips nice and wide. Tuck your toes under as well. Big breath in and exhale into downward facing dog. And I just want you to pedal your feet a few times. Bend one knee and straighten the other. Try to focus on lengthening through one leg at a time, dropping your heel towards your mat. Stretch your ankles, your calves, and just kind of warm up a little bit. And let's just stay for another inhale here in our down dog. And with the exhale, you can bring your knees back down to your mat into your tabletop. We're going to extend our right leg back behind us and then walk your foot towards the left side. So behind you and to the left side. Push the ball of your foot into the ground and then send your hips to the right a little bit. See if you can feel some love through your outer hip, maybe your outer quad all the way down that right leg. And just taking your time here. I hope you were having a nice day so far. Let's bring our right leg back behind us and slide the knee into your tabletop. Maybe a gentle rock of the hips. And then the left leg can come back. Start to walk it over behind you to the right. Push the ball of your foot into the ground and send your hips to the left a little bit. Just allowing yourself to let go of your day. We've been moving a little bit quickly here, so no time to think about anything else. Awesome job, you guys. Slowly bring your leg back behind you. Slide your knee into your tabletop. Spread your fingertips wide. Tuck your toes. Take a big breath in and out into downward facing dog. Nice work, you guys. Pedal your feet just a little bit more. Waking up the back of the legs, the upper body. Take another inhale. The exhale, lower your knees back down again. Cross your ankles. Have a seat. We're going to bring the soles of our feet together and our knees out wide for butterfly. So take an inhale to lengthen through your spine. With the exhale, you can tip forwards. And we'll take a few breaths here. So slowing things down, enjoying a few moments here in our butterfly. Softening through the shoulders. Maybe closing your eyes. Just noticing how your hips feel so far. If you're tipping forwards, let's use an inhale to slowly come back up. We're going to take our right leg and cross it over top of the left and slide the bottom leg into cow face. So we're trying to bring our inner legs together and stack our knees one on top of the other. You can bring your feet out wide here, maybe resting on the edges of your feet, but take an inhale to lengthen through your spine, and maybe with the exhale, tipping forwards. And you might bring your hands out wide here again, pushing into your fingertips just slightly to send your sit bones down into your mat. And maybe a little lower of the chest. And maybe even a rock of your shoulders side to side if your hips like the feeling that gives them. Just kind of feeling those outer hips here. Those glutes. Nice, you guys. Slowly let the inhale lift your upper body up. You can just kind of open your knees, open your legs so that maybe you were to end up back in butterfly, but then we're going to cross the left leg over top and find our cow face the other way. So inner legs together, just trying to stack those knees on top of one another as best we can. Lengthening through your spine, staying here or adding a tip forwards. Maybe a little push into those fingertips when your hips start to lift. Option to add that gentle rock of your shoulders side to side maybe. Or just be still. Just notice how your legs, your hips feel in this position. Awesome, you guys. Let an inhale lift you back up. If you're tipping forwards, you can kind of open those legs up again, but plant your feet, give your knees a hug, maybe even a nice rock side to side. While we're here, we're going to try our first wide-legged straddle, our first middle split. So not to worry about how far things are going yet. Just open your legs up as wide as they want to go. Point your toes up. Lengthen through your spine, and we just want to feel a nice stretch through our inner leg. So we're just prepping for middle splits today. So these are all my favorite stretches to do. You can start to melt your chest forwards, maybe a nice rock of the shoulders, side to side feels good on those inner legs, on those hips. And if you are tipping forward, you're just gonna start to make your way back up. Bring your hands to your knees, help your legs come back together, hug it out, rock it out. And then we can make our way into tabletop again. So from your tabletop, we're just gonna find downward facing dog. So lift your hips, then use an inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk your feet to the top of your mat with an inhale. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold forwards. And inhale, let's come all the way up to standing. Reach up, maybe look up. And exhale, so you lower your hands in front of your heart to your sides. All right, you guys. So if you do have some blocks to use today, just have them close by. We're gonna find a wide stance here with our toes pointing out. And our hands are gonna rest on our legs, and then we're just gonna bend our knees and then do a little rock side to side. A little sway side to side just to open up through the hips a little bit more. I like to let my fingers point down here. You may feel the same way. You might not. But you can also start to let the chest tip forwards more. If the rock of the hips doesn't feel good, you can just be centered. Just trying to open the knees. So a gentle push of your hands to keep your knees open from coming towards one another. How do the hips feel as you drop your chest? Maybe you're still lifted, rocking side to side. Maybe you're playing with a little bit more of a forward fold. Nice work, you guys. So we're gonna come up here again. We're gonna adjust our stance as we need to. So we're gonna bend one leg, maybe the left leg to start. If you've got blocks, have them somewhere in front of your left foot, leg, knee. And then we're just gonna bend that left knee and ideally come down. So either bringing your hands onto your blocks or onto your mat. We wanna keep our right leg out long and bend the left leg. And our blocks are just here to help us be supported, be balanced, so you can use the floor or your blocks. And then we're just gonna pay a little bit more attention to our straight leg here. So see if you can point your toes up for a moment, but keep a nice little micro bend through that knee. And then I want you to turn your toes to point forwards and try to plant your foot. How does the inner leg feel? How does the entire leg feel? Lift your toes again. And then drop your foot, point your toes forwards. And let your hips kind of soften. Nice job, you guys. So we're just gonna lift on up. We're gonna switch sides. So you might be able to gracefully move your blocks to in front of the other foot, lower your hips down. Send your leg out long, point your toes up, keep a little micro bend through that front knee. Sink into those hips so that you feel the inner leg, and then drop your toes. Turn your toes to point forwards as best you can, and then pop them back up. Little micro bend through that knee, but try to drop your hips a little more if you're not getting too much of a leg stretch. And then drop your toes again. Push the ball of your foot into your mat. Nice work, you guys. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time on each side, but we're gonna make things just a little different. So rotate or pivot. Scooch over to the other side, switch it up. Point your toes up, little micro bend through your knee, and then we're just gonna turn our chest a little bit here. So instead of just resting, not thinking too much about our upper body, you can either hang onto a block or your mat or the floor. Just have your arm kind of on the inside of your bent knee, your bent leg, and then turn your chest towards your other leg. Think about kind of opening this knee up to the side. Maybe you can feel some love through that hip as well. Nice work, you guys. Okay, one more time. Let's switch sides. Bend your knee, straighten the other leg, move slowly here. Let's point our toes up. Little micro bend through that knee. So if you have your arm kind of close to this front knee, bring it to the inside of it so that you can open it up a little bit more. Turn your chest to the right a little. Every part of me wants to reach up and add this other arm in, but that's not the goal of the day, not our intention for this practice. Awesome work, you guys. So we're gonna make our way back up. So lift on up. That was the use of the blocks today. So maybe you did use them, maybe you didn't. Maybe you're like, why aren't we using the blocks more? So we can find our way all the way back up to the top of our mats and our feet can come together. Roll your shoulders back and down. Take a big inhale, reach up. So you exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back. Downward facing dog for just a nice big inhale. The exhale, lower your knees, cross your ankles, have a seat. We're going to be bringing the soles of our feet together and our knees out wide. Our butterfly again. So take an inhale, lengthen through your spine. The exhale, if you want to tip forwards. Just a few breaths here. A lot of love for those hips. Awesome work, you guys. Letting an inhale bring you back up. We're going to send our legs out wide again into our straddle. So as you practice middle splits more and more, it's just a straddle where our legs get wider and wider until we're in a nice straight line. So we're basically all doing middle splits right now, even depending on where your legs are. It doesn't matter. We're still getting that awesome leg stretch. So let's point our toes up. Let's take a little tip forwards and just see how everything is feeling. And I want you to lift your chest back up. Slowly turn to face your right leg. Bring your hands to either side of your leg. Lengthen through your spine. Stay here. Or you can walk your hands down towards your foot. Keep pointing your toes up, both of your feet. Those toes are pointing up. You can fold as far as your upper body, your legs want you to fold, and then use an inhale to come back up. Turn your chest to face forwards, pivot to the other leg, push into the fingertips, sit tall, point your toes up, and maybe add more of a forward fold here. And when your back leg or the leg that you're not thinking about right now starts to relax your ankle, point those toes up again. Lovely, you guys. Use an inhale to find your way back up through center. Stay sitting tall or tip forwards again. Maybe your hands come behind your legs. Push into your fingertips. Keep your spine long. If you happen to have a block just sitting there close by, it's begging to be used. Grab it. Maybe your forehead can rest on top. Maybe you notice that you can, after you do these a few times, your forehead gets a little closer to the ground. And then using an inhale to find your way back up. And since we aren't focusing on folding forwards in our middle splits necessarily, we're going to sit tall here, legs out wide, and maybe you can scoot your hips a little bit further forwards. Have your hands on your mat behind you for support. Point your toes up. Nicely done, you guys. And when you feel ready to move, to come out of this, bring your hands to your knees. Help your legs come back together and hug it out. How do your hips feel? Nicely done, you guys. You can make your way into whatever comfy seat you would like. Or you can lay down on your back. Maybe your knees come back to your chest once you're laying down. And while we may have been prepping our middle splits today, it really was an awesome hip opening class. So I'm hoping that you feel some love through your hips right now. Maybe a little less tension. Maybe you were able to let go of some stress. And you can make your way into Shavasana if you have time for it today. Send your legs out nice and long. Rest your arms at your sides. Letting everything go. Staying here as always, for as long as you have time for today. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, namaste.